Hi, I'm making this video to hopefully stop other people from making the same mistake I did recently, which was hiring Tesla Solar to put solar panels on your house. So let me recap my experience. It is currently December 2023. Back in July, I contacted them, got a sales guy. Guy was really good. Went through the whole thing, talked about the tax credit I would get, talked about the energy and blah, blah, blah. So I said, sounds good, let's do it. A month later, August, they do a site visit. They send a guy out, and he basically checks your electrical panel, checks your property, makes sure everything's kosher, and then sends pictures back. And then a couple weeks go by, you hear from them, and they're like, okay, I heard from them, and they're like, sounds good, we're good to go. Let's design your system. So they design the system, they look at the shading of the property and all that kind of good stuff, and they decide where the panels should go. So far, so good. So installation was scheduled for around, I think, December 10th, something like that, December 11th. And they show up. They tell you they're going to show up. They're going to cut the power to the house. Power's going to be off a few hours. They're going to put the panels up, and then an electrician's going to wire everything in and all that. So guys show up. They start drilling holes, start getting set to put the panels up. The utility comes, shuts the power to the house, and shortly thereafter, their Tesla electrician shows up. So he comes in, he goes to the panel, starts doing his thing, and then, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm just working, doing my thing, and then he comes back in a while later and says, yeah, we have to cancel the project. I'm like, what do you mean you have to cancel it? Well, there's a couple of things with the electrical box that aren't right, and we need, that has to be dealt with first. And I'm like, but you guys were out here in August, and nothing's changed since then. What's the problem? And he tells me what the problems are. One of them is that there's a dryer in front of the panel, because that dryer can't possibly be moved, apparently. So I say, okay, so what happens next? He goes, well, the guys are going to patch the holes in your roof. They drilled about 20 holes. They're going to patch that, and then we're going to leave, and then you're going to hear back from your project advisor. I said, okay, whatever. I mean, I'd really like to get this done this year so I can get the tax credit for 2023, but it is what it is, whatever. So a couple days go by, I don't hear a word, nothing. So I follow up, and I start getting the runaround a little bit, because you can't really reach a person. Like, you can, it's through a chat, like you can't call them. So you have to basically go onto their website, do a chat, and then you get sort of a guy in a cubicle who's not familiar with your project really or anything technical answering questions. And so I was like, well, the electrician said there's like 3 things that need to be done. I mean, these are 3 things you should have caught in August, but given that it doesn't seem like it's much, can we just go ahead and get this going? And the guy's like, well, we need to hear back from the field, the people in the field. I'm like, yeah, but it's been a couple of days. Like, how hard is it to tell me 3 things that I have to do? Like, it's small stuff, right? So I can't get an answer. So finally, I'm like, well, it seems like I'm going to have to pay an electrician to come out first before we can even think about redoing this. So I'd like to get that ball rolling. And it's sort of unfair that I have to do this now, because you did look at the system in August and gave me the all clear. And I start getting the runaround, yes, we know this is frustrating. So I realized, I did the math, pretty simple math. When I'm calling them, it's like December 14th, something like that. Let's say I can get an electrician out in the next week, which probably I can't, but let's say I can. He does the work. I then have to send pictures in, and I have to go up the ladder, looked at, and then they reschedule you. And then, so there's no way this is happening by the end of the year. There's just no way. So what ends up happening is I just decide, look, this is a shit show. I mean, I don't want to do this, so I'm just going to cancel. So then they go into, well, sir, you're missing out on blah, blah, blah. So I canceled the project and thinking, all right, well, they patched the holes, whatever. We're back to square one. I'm not really out anything. It's fine. I mean, I'm out $100. That was your non-refundable deposit. Whatever. I learned my lesson, right? Well, it's not over yet, because I'm out the other day and I noticed there's this thing, like equipment on the back of my roof that's bolted in. I'm like, that's weird. So I call my roofer, guy I trust. I mean, I've known them for a long time. They're good. So I said, can you just eyeball this? Just come out and walk it and just tell me what you think. So he comes out and he walks. He says, not only did they leave equipment lag bolted into your roof, he said, when they did their quote repairs of the shingles that they drilled into and stuff, they just kind of ripped them up and then shoved stuff under them. He said they did not do it properly, and this is going to have to get redone. I said, He said, you need to call them and have them handle it. I'm like, I don't trust these guys. Like, do you really want to have them back? Like the same guys who fucked this up and did this and made these many mistakes. I'm like, so, look, I'm just going to bite the bullet, eat it, and just pay my guy to fix it. He said, that's fine. He says, probably going to be $1,000. He said, you should get them to do it. And I go, it's not worth the hassle, because by the time I reach a human being there, and get any resolution other than we know this is frustrating, I'm going to be, it's just no point. It's a time suck, and I'm never going to get anything. So anyway, I'm out a bunch of money for repairs that I shouldn't have to pay, and I'm not getting solar. And if you're going to get solar, my recommendation is find a local company where you're dealing with a person who's there, who can handle it, who you're dealing with the whole way, who's somewhat technical so you can get answers, because this is just a shit show. So hopefully this helps somebody.